This is the Manufacturing Automation Podcast. I'm Michael.
And I'm Matt. In this podcast, we're going to discuss growing companies, automation and manufacturing,
and how we're building the lives and businesses we want to see in the world.
Yeah, we are back on the map with Matt and Michael. We'll give you a little bit of an intro this week. I think we both got some good updates on it. I'm excited to share what my challenge was for the week. Curious to see what Michael dug up in his discovery. But general feelings of the week, Michael, we're starting a little bit late because it sounds like you had some hectic stuff going on your end. So let's hear about it.
Yeah, sure. It's been a hectic week. We've been working a lot on cleaning up our advertising. We have been searching for a new SEO firm. We just onboarded like a small, one guy firm who came to us with a much better plan than the last couple. So I'm excited to.
Sometimes one person teams are great.
I know.
They're very driven. You'll get they're trying to get something going, so they'll go above and beyond.
Yeah, I've been trying to replicate our Shopify Upworker, who's just super high value, super amazing work for a long time now, and we'll see. Hopefully this works out. So focus on SEO, kind of an overhaul of our marketing. Well, not an overhaul, but continuing testing. We're still seeing Facebook. It works so well.
Good
Nothing
grief.
can compare to it. And I think the biggest thing is that I've really gotten back into that sales and marketing role. I started doing site visits. I've done, I think, 2 site visits now.
All right.
And
might have passed me this week.
Well, I think one was Friday and one was Tuesday this week. So I don't know if I passed 2. We're tied.
It counts. the last week since we talked.
Yeah. I went from a little bit worried about our sales pipeline to where our lead times are going to start to get out there, there's just so many leads, and I think that's the other thing that I'm really starting to focus on. HubSpot implementation. We upgraded our HubSpot following workflows. I've been whining along for a while now that we can't know the return on ad spend, the ROAS, for all these ads. Turns out HubSpot can just integrate and track those things once you've upgraded it.
I wish I could have helped you with that a little bit better. I just knew our agency had already tracked it and was showing me how. So I was like, I don't know how it's done. I just know I have the data.
I'm kind of a little bit overwhelmed with quotes. I think I have 4 to 6 large quotes to send out.
Awesome.
And
I understand that pain.
I'm just generally excited. Yeah.
You need to bring some engineer in to help you with some of those quotes and bidding, because that's really helped me, obviously, over the last, has it been 4 months I decided to really push that? Holy crap, time flies. Yeah. So
I think the big thing, too, is, before I kind of had the philosophy of we'll just hire maybe a mid-level, high-level person in that position before the standards were there, before I really knew what worked for the business. And now I'm kind of committed to okay, I'm already seeing sales and marketing, this is getting unsustainable quick. I'm going to need to bring someone into that role, but I'm making a commitment to myself to really lock down the SOPs to get the workflows there, before we try to hire another sales rep. I think once I lock those things down and have a good process, I think that's going to get a lot easier. But got to go through the pain before.
I understand that all too well. I think that's going to be some of my conversation on my personal time audit. But yeah, that's been a large portion of it. It takes longer than you anticipate to go through the pain and get those SOPs, at least from our side, for how custom our stuff is. And then how many verticals we offer also just layers in the complexity and the breadth of what we're trying to build. So yeah, I'm excited to talk about that a little bit more.
One thing that it brings to mind, Jay Pearson on the Lean Built podcast said a line I really liked, which was, I work on things that are broken or new, right? And this is, I guess, in the new category, but once it's established, I need to pull myself out.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I guess kind of my final feeling of the week is kind of feel when we're trying to sell an intraload versus trying to sell a spindle gripper system. With the intraload, it kind of feels like I'm at the top of the hill and I just push the ball, and it rolls down and it's easy, right? The customer knows what it does, they like the pricing, and the transactions just kind of happen. Whereas I definitely feel like I'm pushing the ball up the hill to the other side with some of the spindle gripper stuff because there's that market education issue. And I'm kind of like curious, like I could see us kind of becoming like the Intraload company with a little bit more time here.
Interesting. Okay.
Cool. Well, what about your feelings on the week?
Yeah, I had so I did the Plod AI where I basically
Oh
wore
yeah.
the thing for the whole week or as much as I could, recorded it and then ran it all through ChatGPT to give me an audit. The way that it broke it down for me into one sentence, I asked it, it said, "You're the lever and the bottleneck." So I think that kind of summed it up on, some of the pains that we're seeing within sales and some things that were also kind of similar to what you discussed that you're trying to do differently is also some of my pain. The challenges of a small business is, what's the right move? Because it's always, I need a fraction of a solution at a whole person or a whole full package of things. So it's
Right.
always this pros and cons of balancing which one to do because as we're going through the SOPs and with a huge continuous improvement push here at the end of July here and into August before we start some of these big projects, it's been a lot of cleanup. So like, holy crap, it's like went full time in this now 6 years ago, and we're going through stuff like cleaning up just trash. And like one of my team members sent me a meme of a guy throwing stuff in the trash can, and it's like that's the same thing of our like folders. Like we've done it on the floor, and we've just never been good about cleaning up all the clutter from. I mean, there was stuff I saw that like I did 11 years ago, and I
Yeah.
was like, why does this still exist? I'd assume every single person on the teams probably looked at that, went, what the hell is this? Closed it, and then opened it another couple of years later. How much did those things cost us? So it's just like we're just purging folders of all this old stuff and then creating good folder SOP organization. Also, kind of in our push for ISO next year because we had the A3 that we're layering in. But it was just like, why wasn't some of this done sooner? It was like, oh my gosh, we've just been in growth mode and the team spread so thin for so long that we just didn't have the time to step back and do some of these things. And it's kind of eye opening. If that makes sense. That's
Oh, it
kind
makes
of
a
my
ton of
feelings.
sense.
Yeah, that's my
Like
feelings.
I think kind of, you pushed me a little bit to do spring cleaning, and we got rid of so much stuff, and so many things too, where the lean waste of overproduction. We had a product and we made 40 of them as a first run, and turns out we killed that product, because for whatever reason, a year later, and now we have 32 of the things sitting there that we just wasted all this money on.
Yeah.
Um,
See, and it's easy for me to kill the physical stuff or the stuff on the floor. Kills the wrong word. Trash can it. Like
sure, yeah,
seeing those old projects and just throwing them in the dumpster. I don't know why, but like that digital clutter, I continue just to move forward. And it's like, I think it's kind of nice. My team's holding me accountable, and it's also pointing to the direction of some tasks that we should just have an executive assistant doing format because we know some habits won't change for me. So we should just more or less have somebody take care of a few things for me for like organization. So I'm just not the pain in the team, if you will.
yeah. I mean, we talked about like killing products too, right? And how hard, like that was so hard for me to kill our small tumble blast. And I killed it. It was kind of like a preliminary thing. I took it off the website, and the issue was we were getting too many false returns, people abusing it, people doing things that was totally not meant for her. And we had a customer just light up our faces. Like, they ordered it like in May. They ran it for all the way until the mid-July, and they're like, we've never run it before. It doesn't work. Of course, it was like completely abused. And, this happened like right after I stopped selling them. I'm like, okay, great decision. I'm never going to have to think about, people beating the crap out of the small tumble blast again. And just getting the focus where you need it to be is such a huge deal.
Oh yeah. That's a good call. I know like one of the things I don't know if I've said it on the pod, but like the goal was to get the HMI hardware available for the market.
Yep. Yep.
We've decided that that's just going to be an IP strategic move for the machines we build. And if somebody contracts us for industrial product development, they can potentially get access to some of that IP. But we're deciding we're not going to sell that hardware. We just see it as it's turning into our huge value prop with the machines we're building.
Right.
So that's been one thing that I've cut off the list here. I don't know if I've shared that on the pod. And then the other
you
one
did.
was the automation fixture system. it's yielded some good leads around it. Never really a revenue generator for us. So it's like, let's just get it off the website. It's not driving any traffic. And it's one of those tasks that's continued like, oh, we're going to get to the SEO. We're going to get to the upstate of the website. And it's like, we've been saying that for the last 6 months. It's like one of the only pages that isn't updated. We clearly don't care about it. It should it should be gone. So that's been something that we were discussing with the marketing team, is how we get all those links and stuff removed from the site and moving that.
Well, I
forward.
mean, it's a chicken and egg problem though. Like, you got to build the product to know if it works. And
oh yeah,
like the first one I killed was a line load, and it took me forever to do it because we're on like our 5th generation. I'm just like, the problem is it's just not good enough. Like it was good from the beginning. It got better through the generations, but
yeah,
and we didn't do the SEO. We didn't optimize it a ton, right? But then we did the exact same level of effort with intro load. And now there's sales inquiries for it. Like there's deals happening. And so I wouldn't, seen myself use that excuse. I don't want to let you use that excuse of like, oh, we didn't do enough.
What do you mean we didn't do it?
Well, like, oh, if we did the SEO or.
No, I'm not trying to justify why we should keep it. What I'm saying is like, we didn't kill it soon enough. Like what I'm saying is like, the product got its justice because we clearly didn't care about it. Like that's the truth. I think the one that took me too long was the No Design product line. That was just too much of a capital and emotional investment, if you will, that it just was like, gosh, it took way too long. But what's interesting is we decided to do that, and then since the beginning of the year, I've had opportunities come in for hardware development that aligns very much that like the No Design potentially could have been leveraged into. But if I listen to those customers and what they want when they talk about modular hardware or new product development, I had the reason this one's coming top of mind, and we're kind of off track. I guess sales and marketing based on
so we're rolling into sales and marketing. Let's say
I listened to what they wanted, and like what they're describing is grossly overcomplicated for what they want, while the No Design potentially would have been a good solution if we went down that. But it's like, why don't I get you to market fast? Let's make you some money, and then we'll design the right solution. But I still don't think it's going to be modular. I think it's going to be a couple SKUs that are going to be very well tailored to your needs, and it's still going to be more cost effective and scalable. And it was like having gone through that pain with the No Design product line just allowed me to have the utmost confidence with that call with that customer, because it's like, I've been down the road. Please don't let me waste your money. Let's do this right.
Yeah. One thing that makes me think about a little bit is, we see them less, but we still see these customers that are kind of like, they're on the edge. They're not sure yet. Maybe we're their first foray into automation. And I really want to help them to succeed. But, I kind of worry with some of those customers, like, are they going to, do the work to learn all the things they don't know? Right. And those are the customers, like with the semi-turnkeys, I've had compliance issues with in the past of like doing the thing because they're a really small shop. They're not charging enough. They have too much going on, and they can't put the 15 hours in that it takes to do it properly. And I've started to kind of just like, we'll have the call, we'll put a quote together, we'll put in some training buffer and make sure there's, we account for that when calculating our margins. But more and more, I started to just like, our funnels aren't set up properly, but kind of put them in a different bucket, a different pipeline, and not aggressively follow up and, not do the things we would normally do.
Yeah, I feel you there. Cause like, I mean, some of those smaller customers is what grew both of our businesses. Yeah. And I see that too. And they come in and they want help with automation or guidance on it, but they don't have the budget. And the struggle is they turn into one of the biggest time sucks, and you risk the rest of your business trying to help these people. But I don't know. It's a passion of mine seeing other small businesses grow. The way I've looked at it around our automation, and this is something we've tailored, I've talked about on the automation assessment side, is we're putting the coaching package there. So you pay $2,500 to onboard us, and then you pay $490 a month for us to coach you through automation for your company. That's the way that I'm looking at it. So I can at least give them hours, but at least get compensated for it. That makes it maybe not necessarily worth my time, but at least offsets the opportunity cost, if you will.
Yeah, for sure.
So worth a shot maybe on your side. That's the way we're approaching it. I have yet to get one of those coaching clients. So if anybody listening wants to be one of those for a case study video, maybe we can chat. I'd be all ears.
No, there's got to be a first. And I guess one thing I've been thinking about too, I went and did these site visits, and I'm like, okay, one customer brought us in. They had like a project in mind. I got them a demo vise, and I guess like in hindsight, I'm kind of like, well, they told me to come in, and like, did they actually really want me to come in, right? And I did another one of these site visits that was, a totally different experience where I think they really wanted us there, and have a real need for multiple machines to get fully automated. And reflecting on that, I was kind of like, should I just copy Matt's automation assessment? Like, charge X dollars, come out, make sure they have skin in the game, make sure it's really something they want. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I think that's a brilliant implementation.
Your back end work is less, so I think you could even if you did it like we're trying to get $5,000 because of how
Right.
much. Well, $5,000 is what we used to. We actually moved it up to 12,500.
Yep.
Because the amount of back end work just to
Yep.
properly do these. I think the way I would look at it is you go $500, and we also credit that 12,500 if somebody
Right.
buys a
Yep.
machine from us in the next 12 months. So you say, hey, cost me $500. I'll come out. I'll evaluate everything, and that's a full credit towards whatever you buy in the next 12 months.
Yep.
I don't care as long as it's more than $500.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the way to go. I mean, maybe 750, maybe 1,000 for, and that's the local price, obviously, especially if it's me there. But yeah, just making sure the customer actually has skin in the game, has real projects that they want to do, because at the end of the day, I can't be pulling out, especially if I'm driving to Orange County and it's an hour drive, I can't burn 3 hours. I mean, just on our like 1 or 2 T&Ms, like I could make $1,800 in that time just billing my time. So
that comment I slightly
that's a
disagree
bad
with
way to think
because,
about it, right?
yeah, you shouldn't be looking at your time as billable anymore. You need to be looking at I think you need to be looking at how you are that growth point.
Yeah.
So these opportunities are growth points, because that's always a sticking point that I fight with myself of like, how big of a growth client is this? Like for our industrial new product development, I had a site visit on Monday. Huge potential upside. I'm not charging them to go in. It's more or less a consult, initial site visit. Now they're coming to ours to do a preliminary evaluation of us. But the upside of that is like multi-million-dollar product development for a machine that would go to market that we then get the chance to manufacture at scale of good amount of units. Like some of those people, you just have to invest in the relationship. Sometimes it's a weird area.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard
it's not black and white is what I'm trying to say.
It's hard for us to really separate them because, like, the shops can look identical. And I think for you, because it's less of a drop-in solution, like the customers are more looking, right? They're more likely, they're already going down the path of looking for a solution. Whereas, for us, because they're kind of drop-in solutions that are, ranging from $5,000 to $60,000, it's kind of like, oh, come in as a vendor, like blah 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 blah. And I guess the like people who I just want to make sure that the customers are serious before I start taking a ton of my time there, right?
Yeah. That's I have the exact same pain. There's other ways, like that's where the Apollo app can come in.
Yep.
And like doing auditing. Like sometimes I just audit the people that I'm going to, and that
Right.
makes the decision for me. Like, all right, they're putting a good show. Their website looks pretty good. How big really?
Oh yeah,
are
I mean
they?
that's the starting point, but
Yeah.
I guess one of the other major things is we upgraded our HubSpot, and that really kind of unleashed us to make our quotes really customized. I put a ton of time into the quote templates. I made like 7 versions of them, but now it's like to make an intro load UMC 750 Gen 1, it's a button, right? And that has been a ton of work, an absolute ton of work. First off, ChatGPT, like I've been using AI so much more, and I'm glad you kept talking about it because it pushed me into it.
Oh my gosh, I have doubled my throughput in the last 6 months here with
Right,
AI.
it's insane. But we have a developer. He's not really familiar with HubSpot, and like we have to like mess with the CSS, and I know HTML, CSS, I could do it, but I didn't want to dig through it. And I just copy pasted the whole file, the whole CSS file in a ChatGPT and said, hey, I want to make this particular thing bold. And then it would give me the code update. And I'm like, no, give me the whole new file. I uploaded that to HubSpot. It took 2 or 3 tries of like, no, that didn't work. But literally in 3 minutes, I had the change I wanted. and it would have taken me, longer than that to type out and in detail, tell the Shopify developer how to get there in HubSpot to add him. Like, just the speed of changes is phenomenal, and that was really cool.
Awesome. I'm liking the leverage there.
But that getting quotes to be a little more painless has been great, and I'm looking for the next steps. Honestly, I'm not loving Fixer right now. I can talk a little bit about that. I'm having some issues with it.
I feel like it's regressed.
Yeah.
As an ecosystem. I put a whole bunch of my team on it, and in the last couple of weeks, they've asked to go off of it. So this is going to be an interesting conversation.
Okay. Yeah. Well, let's pause Fixer for a sec because I want to mention something else.
Cool.
2 products. One is called Captions. It's an app, and we're just starting to experiment using it. But it basically takes like talking headshots, and you can like give it a website URL, and it just turns those into clips where like that, it removes the background and like puts you in front of the product. It does it all automatically. It makes like 6 versions at a time, and it's cheap. It's like $30 a month. That's like very preliminary. And the other one I haven't tested yet, but this was just mentioned in the the Uriel's podcast. I'm trying to incremental. He mentioned this tool called Whisper Flow that apparently is like, you have it on your iPhone or your desktop or whatever. You hit a button, and it's like perfect AI transcription. So you can just talk and write an email and know how to type it out.
You can do that with ChatGPT.
Okay. Well, I haven't been doing that, so I'm.
Yeah. Okay. That's actually a really good point. So I've like quit talking to like this mic for the podcast has been like the best tool because it's so good at hearing to the point. I talk to ChatGPT almost all day. I don't type anymore, and then I can give way better prompts.
Right. Okay.
And then like I can recall prompts. Like it's interesting how like I used to be more agent focused. Now I'm living in one giant chat that like I have to give more context to recall things. So yeah, try that out this week is using your mic and talking to ChatGPT.
Yeah, definitely. And I part of the cool thing I think about Whisperflow is like you can click wherever in your cursor and it turns out to a like transcript, right? So like you click in an email and there's not that copy paste friction. But yeah, I have to do that with chat too. That's definitely true.
Yeah, I'm looking at Whisper right now. It actually looks like an interesting leverage because I don't like to say how I want the message to be done. I prefer to give ChatGPT what I'm looking for the message, and then I'll tune it to my tone once I'm done. Like that's the way I think about using it, and I've found it to work better because it'll typically come up with a little bit better solutions than like Matt would.
Well, I guess I can come up with an email and like write it in my head, and I do this sometimes when I'm like thinking about something, and I'll write the whole thing in my head, and then I'm thinking, I don't know, 200 words per minute or something, and then my typing is 80, and just that lag, getting rid of that lag would be awesome.
Yeah, start talking to ChatGPT.
Yep. Yeah. Any other stuff you want to talk about?
Sales and marketing, we're still buttoning up the SOPs. So like I said, cleaning stuff out. It was the great purge of the sales and marketing folders at Develop. I believe as of like just a couple minutes ago, some of the messages I was seeing, they're either all cleaned up or they're going to be by tomorrow morning. And we're talking like 80% purge.
Right.
Like it was ridiculous. And so
we have a lot too.
And then now that that's done, we took the stuff that needed and consolidated it or combined things and then really narrowed in on the tools that have been working and then combined some of those. Those are then moving into the ones that are like our contracts on the sales side and fixed documents that we want change logs to are going into Overleaf. That's then next step is buttoning up our HubSpot correlations for automating that full circle and bringing that in. I guess sales and marketing, it's kind of...
I want to pause you there.
Oh,
yeah. I know Overleaf seems really interesting and the way you're building a proposal seems interesting. I am really surprised. Like HubSpot without the Marketing Pro is very limiting on what you can do with quotes. I've been surprised by just how powerful it is in like building proposals and how customized you can get it. It's probably like, it's going to lack that AI element, but like that's where we've been going at least with quotes is getting everything really built out in HubSpot and having templates.
So we evaluated that, went down the road. I put the challenge on the engineering team on the scope. They came back with the Overleaf layered with AI, layered with Plod, and everything we're wanting to do with those aspects. and our audit showed that we could, for how custom ours are, we could build our custom quotes faster this way. And it's already, we ran some alpha tests. I've been amazed at how fast we're doing things. Like we went from weeks to days to hours. I'm like, holy crap. Like one of our OKRs was no quote takes more than 5 to 10 days. Now we're talking like, we're like, that's insane. Now it's like no quote should take more than 48 hours.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, you still have to scope it out and plan it and go back and forth, right?
But I talk to ChatGPT, it builds out my OneNote. I copy and paste that into our meeting notes. My team then takes that to AI because that's based on the modules and the executive summary that I give it, along with all my recorded meetings. They take that, build out the proposal. That triggers it. We come for one meeting, look at budgetary numbers of what cost of goods are going to be on it, risks associated with it. We then have a meeting with that client, verify that those align. If that's all good, goes back to engineering for CAD layout and final revisions on the proposal, and we're done.
Right.
I realize it's a lot of steps, but like 80%'s been done with AI now.
Right. Yeah, I think probably the balance, like you guys are a lot more customized and there's a lot more to go through. For us, it's about reducing the friction of payment and making the payment terms incredibly clear. And what's cool about HubSpot is, you know, like let's say it's an intro load, fully built out work holding, $48,000 installed, right? You know, we in the quote have, okay, it's 30% upfront, 30% when we have all the stuff, 25% when it's working at our site, 15% when it's installed and past site acceptance testing. And what's cool, there's just a button, they pay the first thing, it automatically converts it to an invoice, and that triggers all the other ones to be created.
Yeah, see, that's not our friction. It's getting to that point because typically there's legal then once we've got everything done, CapEx approval, and like the invoice lag. Like we'll start a project and have sign-offs on it. Like it'll be putting into our schedule before we're even paid for the first down payment. Right. So it's like this weird, like you said, chicken and egg earlier. That's what we typically run into.
Yeah. I mean, for us, like our sales cycles are typically like intro load 2-3 months. But like once the project is moving, it's moving. And most people have just been paying, you know, literally with a credit card. And you know, that's been great. Obviously there's some bureaucracy when a customer wants to finance it.
Yeah. We're almost all ACH. We still get a lot of mailed checks.
Yeah.
I hate it. It's crazy how many companies still mail. We've had people go on ACH, set it up, do ACH payments, and then send us checks.
We have too. It's insane. Like, yeah, the number of mailed checks is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, as long as we get paid, I really don't care. And I prefer it over credit card, actually, because there's no fees.
Right, yeah.
So that's really, I guess the other thing is the top of funnel. I had that podcast that I did last week, and I'm currently evaluating whether we hire an agency to handle some of the top of funnel for me, a little bit more on really just getting these people on my calendar. Like I need a human layer in here, and I want to test something before and build a process before we hire an executive assistant or inside sales.
Yeah. I mean, I'd be skeptical to hire an agency there. Like I would encourage you.
This is a one-person company is what I'm looking at. He's going out on his own. I've met him. We'd be like one of his first couple clients. Okay. And
I'd call him a freelancer, I guess.
Yeah, that's kind of what it is. Like he's like talking, he's super high value individual, and he's like, oh, I could do some of this pro bono for case. I'm like, I want to pay you because you're going to create value. Like there's clear there, but like he is very, very excited about starting his business. I kind of want to fuel that, if you will.
For sure.
But maybe it's not the right call. I've been discussing, I've created a virtual board within ChatGPT, and that's been one of the topics in there.
I mean, my thought process is kind of, you know, what I was talking about with sales. And I say this as someone who, you know, tried to do the EA thing without good SOPs, and I turned through 7 of them. And, you know, most of them are virtual. I should have hired higher quality candidates, you know, blah, blah, blah. But the biggest problem was that I didn't know exactly what I needed. It wasn't standardized and put into very clean SOPs. I mean, and then I didn't hire the caliber of person I was really looking for. You know, those were the kind of the 3 things. I guess my concern with the freelancer, I don't know you're moving in that direction of having like a permanent solution. Because
Yeah, I see it as a part-time solution as we button up that top of funnel to bring one in. This was, I mean, if we want to go on to the number 5 of the week of auditing our time, I think we should just come back to this.
Okay, yeah.
But
So
that's a large portion of what I found when I audited my time, and it's a pretty hefty conversation.
cool. I guess last thing for. Oh, sorry, I interrupted you.
I was just going to move on to engineering R&D.
Oh well, I have one more thing on sales and marketing. We've been releasing new pay-per-click ads. In Facebook, we've been doing Reddit. And Reddit and Google just aren't performing. We're not flowing through and booking calls, and the Google that's performing is still organic. So kind of shifting that focus away from Google PPC.
Our
Go ahead, Matt.
Google organic, something turned on in the last week. We had 4 leads come in the last 7 business days that are high quality. Like, it's not uncommon to get 4 in a week, but 4 that I would classify as 4 or 5 stars, and already had a couple meetings with them.
Wow, that's great.
So I don't know what changed on Google there, but I was like, I don't think we did anything crazy. What happened? Or people just were searching for stuff that Develop does.
I mean, sometimes just like a random page ranks, and little tweaks to the Google algorithm. Like, we had just one random page rank one time, and it just like surged our traffic, and for one search term, and then some other tweak to the algorithm comes out, and then that goes away, right?
Yeah. It was. I'm thinking of one client in particular is like spot on wheelhouse for industrial product development services, where we design all their controls for them, their user interface, give them plug and play solution. It'd be sick, but hopefully.
So here's a question. Did it come from organic or?
It did, organic, HubSpot form.
Okay. So with the HubSpot form, are you able to I'm trying to figure out how implemented you guys are on HubSpot and how behind we are. Like when they fill out that form, are you able to go in HubSpot and see the customer journey? They click on this page or this article.
Yeah. Let me pull up that contact.
Did they all come from the same article or from different places?
No, all different. I look at the journey; they're all different. So if I go to activity, you're talking about activities. If I scroll down, this person came to our page. They viewed embedded hardware and industrial products. So it's actually a page we actually revised in the last 3 months, which is interesting. They then went to our expert automation integrator services. Their product that they need is hybrid. They build a machine for the automation space, if you will,
right,
or the manufacturing space, but it's a machine at the end of the day. And then they then went to our engineering services, and then from there they filled out our form to contact us.
Yep, gotcha.
So yeah, they went right through several, but clearly their first page was embedded hardware for industrial products. So to make it more interesting, this guy has come to our site 5 times and viewed a total of 16 pages throughout all that.
Gotcha.
So I didn't even get all the data.
Right.
But I guess I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I can see 9 of his activity instances of pages he's been to, but he's been to the site 5 times since July. So, this is interesting too. He's been there since July 16th, and he just had reached out this week.
Gotcha.
So he had been checking us out and coming back. That's why I probably didn't get all the information. I only got the instances of when he filled out the forms.
Interesting. Oh, it is there for me. I just haven't been aware of even where to look.
Yeah.
So this guy landed on our website and then went to the interload page to book a demo. Came back 2 days later and only then booked the demo.
Yeah.
So that was one thing I had on my notes to ask you is how detailed, how well integrated are you in HubSpot? Is every contact gone through HubSpot? Do you take them from whatever into, you run them through the lead funnels and then they go into automated workflows? Can you tell me a little bit about that? Because I don't really understand. I don't know what I don't know.
Yeah, we're still figuring some of that out in complete transparency. We used to be on Nimble prior to this. I think we're it's either this month or next month we're going to be at 1 year in HubSpot. Yeah. So when we started the podcast, we were talking about that move, right? Yeah. So maybe it's a little over a year then, but it's been figuring that out. But all of our leads now get tracked through HubSpot. I still prefer to be in Outlook for emailing, which is a
Right.
little bit clunky. So I have to make sure that I'm linking when I'm emailing things. There's a HubSpot add-in for Outlook. You
Right.
just have a couple buttons you got to click. It's still not perfect. It's just I prefer Outlook than the HubSpot email
Yeah.
platform.
Yeah. We're going out of Gmail instead of direct.
So that's the way I go about it. But then once it's there, then I track it. And then we've built out products and service sections in there. So once I know what they're interested in, I have to fill out whether they want, and at trade shows you get a lot of the content, whether they're coming in. We select the products they want, their checkbox that they go down. Let's do the same thing with the services. We give them their star rating, and I track all that stuff.
Yeah.
Another thing I like having is what their actual physical address is and their LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So,
Interesting.
but that's what I track, and then try and track all the emails. I got to get better about some of that. Sometimes I just miss checking the boxes, and then it's like, oh, this lead's really moved along. I better go
Right.
retrack all this stuff so I can see how they progress through the funnel.
Okay. Yeah. I guess like if we have kind of become that intersection of like on the podcast of really like a marketing, sales, running the business focus combined with the, that business being engineering, like automation stuff, right?
Yeah, we're a bunch of engineers that don't know how to market. So we're trying to figure out how to get found.
Yeah. Cool. Do you want to move on to the next section?
Yeah, I think engineering and R&D is solid.
Cool. You want to start?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I never thought I'd see statements of work at Develop where I'm the customer.
Okay.
So the team has moved to anything that's product development now at Develop has to have a statement of work associated with it. And Matt signs off to it. This creates a two-way accountability, as in metrics no longer change. And the team has a clear mission to go to so we avoid any mission creep and we can move faster without me being involved at certain times. Takes more time to scope stuff up front, but I'm really excited to see how this plays out. So we did it for this kind of last engineering changes, if you will, for the MRS. For software, we did it for our AI sales tools that we're building. We build SOWs around those, or statement of requirements is more what they are. And then we're creating FATs, factory acceptance, for ourselves too. So before they can move on, we have to have somebody else on the team do an actual FAT like we do for other machines. And I'm really jazzed about this. I don't know why I'm so excited about something so simple,
Right.
but seeing it was really cool because it made it very real to us as a team that we are a customer here and we're spending real dollars. Because I think one of the things that is really challenging as a small business, as you get engineers coming in that are creating products, it's all too easy to add stuff or take different routes or think, oh, this, I was just testing this.
Right.
And it's like, I understand that. I really appreciate that. I'm really excited that you tested that. But how many hours was that? Is like the question I'll ask. Oh, it's like, oh, it was only 4 or 6 hours. It's like, all right, the burden on you is $100 an hour. That was $400.
Yep.
And it wasn't anything this company needed.
Yep. Absolutely.
And so it's like constantly being able to reframe that. And it's like my team's really starting to understand the value of their time beyond their paycheck, because the value of the time is 3 to 5 times the paycheck in all reality for most people. So it's those costs are exponential. And so continuing to just stay focused on what's needed when we need it has been really good with those statement of works. But yeah, that's one thing that I wish I could help other small businesses on, is educating team members around the true value of their time.
Yeah. Like I have that same exact problem with, our most senior engineer, brilliant, but, I'll go and I'll find him like tapping holes or doing something to like help out. And I'm thinking like, what are you doing? You're too high skill, too high paid to be doing that thing. Like we got to leverage you to make sure that, the company is actually making money off of your time. And like that's something like, okay, you got to delegate this. And we got to really make sure that the right people are working on the right things at the right time.
And I've found that it's learning experiences through the times where it's like they see that, how much time did you spend on that? You do the math right in front of them. or like I've had other ones where like, hey, we're looking at doing this development or creating this tool, and it's like, okay, how much is it going to cost to create that? Oh, it's going to cost 20 hours. So
Yep.
let's call that $2,000. Can we buy something for $2,000? Oh, we can actually
Yeah,
buy
absolutely.
something for $1,200. Okay, go buy that. We're not building it.
Yeah.
Like when you do that math, but it just needs to be the activity of doing that math with them. Because like that was something I was like, I've been like, oh, why can't they see this? And it's like they just haven't been trained to think about it in that lens.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and for me, like, I love hiring the guys who have a 3D printer in their garage and built their own CNC machine. Like,
Oh, they're the worst. They're going to be
that
the
problem
worst
is the
about
worst, right? Like, they'll build everything themselves. Like, they're like, oh, they're just looking at the BOM, and it's like, how much? Like, you're an engineer. You know how much this costs? Like, we can't do that. That's
Yeah. It's the same thing on building machines that we have to have the conversation. It's materials don't drive the cost of our machines. It's
labor.
100%.
Yeah.
Like, Matt's rant, but
yeah, no, I'm with you on that. And
like, it's taken time, but my team's really starting to see how they move the needle on the dollars. And I think doing the profit sharing and becoming more open book with them is making it very tangible of why certain growth hasn't happened within develop and making it very visible of how much faster we can go if we look at the numbers correctly.
Yeah. It's funny, like, you said, like, oh, multiply that time, that's $2,000, and we can buy it for $1,200. And that's actually what I was going to talk about for most of my little engineering section here.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, we went through this phase where we were like outsourcing a lot, and then the tariffs came and we insourced a lot, and we had a lot of vendor issues, and we started outsourcing a couple parts to a couple different vendors in the Midwest, like I mentioned. Really small runs at first, incredibly high mix, but the costs aren't that bad. The quality's a lot better. And you've been really encouraging me, and a lot of other people have as well, of like to really got a bug to really get a handle on like what my business is, what we're really good at, what we're not good at. And I think what I really landed on is like, wait a minute, we're not a job shop at all. Like, we're an engineering firm, and we're an engineering firm that does apps engineering and implementations and support and sales. Nowhere there do I need to be manufacturing parts really for anything more than doing the apps engineering for our turnkeys or doing the engineering for our product development. And then I've kind of gone the way of like, well, anything that we're not awesome at, let's outsource it to people who are awesome at it and gain that velocity back. And oh my God, the amount of like time, like of headspace I've cleared up, of things I don't have to manage that aren't going wrong, like has just opened up so much of my personal bandwidth, and I think the general team's bandwidth.
Interesting. I'm glad something I said helped. I don't remember what triggered that, but
well, we were talking about like, I think I was whining like, oh, what's the direction of the business? I need to figure that out, right? And then I started to think like, really velocity is what we need, and I think lean has really helped us with like, don't build way too many. Like lots of smaller product iterations, get better little by little by little, have a month of inventory, not 6. And I think that was like one of the big last steps is like, hey, we're awesome at engineering. We're awesome at coming out with new products and doing actual implementations for people. But we're not an awesome job shop. Like no one, no one here wants to run the components or optimize CAM. Like that's just not what we're amazing at.
So you're going to get rid of some more machines?
We're going to get rid of our gantry mill for sure, in part of like consolidating to the one larger building.
Yeah.
I don't think we really want to get rid of the machines because we want a 5-axis, we want a general 3+1, and we want a BT30 machine. But we're certainly not buying more, right?
Yeah.
I think that's kind of the conclusion there. The lots of those little improvements, like our quick flip, I've been talking about it forever. That's coming out as soon as the parts come back from Anno. And we also have we totally redesigned the Roto grip flip grip module, the one that goes on a 4th axis, and that's going to release this week too. But yeah, I mean, it's a change of philosophy, and I know I sound like almost like flabbergasted with my obvious conclusion, but
it's hindsight's always 20/20, Michael.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be too hard on yourself. You reached what appears to be the right conclusion at the time that was right.
yeah. Well, earlier is always right, but you didn't know what you didn't know.
Yeah, I mean, you can always say that. I mean,
Yeah.
geez.
And I think one thing you really encouraged me to is like, I have all these ideas and we have extra load as a thing and that's in the back of my head. And I still want to go down that route eventually and simplify it. But like right now, the semi-turnkeys, we know what to do. I want to like close down the scope and just run people through that funnel. I'm not involved in it. It works well. But I really see intraload becoming the direction. And like the first thing I've scoped out as the next project is, we had like the designs ready to go for the DN machines, but we haven't done the first implementation on them for the intraload, the pallet loading system. Like that's the next thing. It's just optimize and really perfect that product and get it on all the machines it can go on, and then move on to the next thing.
Perfect. That sounds like a great segue into company-wide improvements.
Yeah. I'll let you go. I've been talking.
I feel like I hit mine. We've been working on the sales. That's a repetitive task there. Folder cleanup and organization. The team's got a list of CIs. The big CI that I think is across, I realize it's a big CI, so I don't know if it's continuous improvement. It's more like build the system we've needed to build. So it's bigger than a CI. It's a a Kaizen event, I guess, technically, if you're using that. But it's focusing on the customer journey, because like what we found as I look back is it's like some of the best customers went through the best customer journeys and the way that they had this experience with develop. And there was a lot of energy on my part typically, or a lot of energy of somebody on the team. So it's figuring out how that gets replicated to whoever's working with anybody on what our customer journey always looks like, from marketing to maintenance on a machine. And the messaging has been pretty good. It's just we didn't have all the documents created. I didn't realize how many documents we need. Like, oh my gosh, we built this out, and it's like you look at an 8.5 by 11. It doesn't fit on both sides of all the, like, from factory acceptance testing to all this, like all the miscellaneous steps throughout a machine. It's crazy. Like, so many documents. I had no idea how much my team had actually created over the last couple of years here while we were building this system.
And you can just go crazy with documentation, like farther and farther and farther.
Yeah, you can go too far for sure.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it's I think we're finding a good medium and a good journey that we're like, you can almost show a timeline that a customer needs to follow to keep them satisfied.
Yeah. That's really cool. Yeah, I mean, that pipeline, that customer journey, that funnel these are all really top of mind and things I need to dial in. We were talking about earlier, like how, like, I was really happy that we killed the small tumble blast. And I think, like, I opened the website up and I'm like, what else maybe should we kill, right? And I'm like, why the hell do we still sell auto doors? Because, like, we started selling auto doors for the intro load, or sorry, for the line load, which we killed, right? And I think this is like our lowest volume item. We sell like 3 a year. It's an awesome product, but like, what's the point?
Yeah.
So like, I need to kill that. And now I'm thinking like, like even the giant tumble blast, like it's not a huge volume seller for us. I think my initial theory with this was like, oh, it's going to bring in people down the pipeline. That just isn't true. And like, okay, sure, we net out 50 grand into bottom line every year from this product, but like, that's a lot of mental bandwidth. And it just makes me think like, that's also the one thing on our website that doesn't really align with the core of our business, right? I think probably the giant tumble blast, I should just commit, like, I'm going to kill this product once we've churned through the inventory of it. Because, we have, I don't know, 20 units worth of inventory. And that might mean we kill it at the end of the year. And I guess that's another practice in not having been lean, but
It's a tough one. I mean, you could have trigger events. We either move the inventory or we get to the end of the year. Either way, by 1/1/26, tumble blast is gone.
Yeah. I like it.
So you've made the decision. You've given it time, so it's not a constant moving target accidentally.
Yeah, but auto doors, I should kill right away. Giant tumble blast, like I think I'll make a target and we'll say by end of the year we're kill it regardless.
Cool.
I mean, we got our fixture table. We got an insane deal on a clearance fixture table that I found on an Instagram ad.
Nice.
Strong Hand Tools was like, they didn't even have it on their website. It was like an Instagram ad. It was the last one. It was like half off. Super nice fixture table. I'm investing in clamps. Like, trying to make Interload really easy to build because that's where I see us going. Another continuous improvement is that I realized I did the electrical panels, 2 of them for these 2 Interloads we're installing. And another great piece of feedback you gave me is like, you shouldn't be doing this. And we have a vendor who's done really great electrical panels for us in the past. We had kind of a project go south with that vendor and, kind of pulled back some of the stuff. Now that everything is so much more defined, it's like a recurring product for us. I think, let's give it a go. Like, let's get this, just another thing off my plate and get my head into, is it new or is it broken? And, how do I make the team go and get me out of the way?
I like that. Yeah.
I guess the very last thing I had in my notes here that I wanted to talk about for continuous improvements before we get to the time reviews is Fixer. I want to hear your current take on Fixer because I've been getting more and more frustrated.
Yeah.
For context, if you're listening, Fixer is like an AI email tool that we've both been on that started out great.
It's the common theme across my team. I think it just progresses on how much you used it.
Okay.
So the people that were using it less are wanting it gone because the folder organization isn't working quite the way they like it, which is interesting. I'm seeing duplicates. I don't know if you see that now. So that's the really frustrating thing for me that's happened this week. I don't know, like I seem to have this lag on some things, but like all of a sudden my stuff's being duplicated into folders. I'm moving and migrating and deleting stuff out of multiple folders the way I was using it. The emails that it was drafting, like the prompt went to garbage. Like I haven't used one of their emails now in like a week or 2 here because they're so bad. And it's like, this product was awesome.
I know.
And it's like they kept statement of work, statement of requirements, and mission creep. Like what we started this podcast on is what I feel about it is they keep trying to add more features. And I'd actually prefer they removed, like went through and cut features at this point and gave me back the core product.
I don't even know. So like I think the thing that started it for me is what the hell happened to the organization? Like it wasn't great before. Like, you would send an email and at least in Gmail, it like pins it at the top, even though it's like a thing you've done. And there were some settings I messed with a little bit to get it a little bit better. But it's just become insufferable of like trying to find the emails that need to be responded to. Because it's so much just random crap that I can't hide by responding to it like it used to be in normal Gmail.
Well, and it used to handle all those things pretty, at least on Outlook, it did. Like I'd do something and it would move. Like it was automated. It was sick. It was cool.
For me, it went from okay/frustrating, right? But it was worth it to like
friction.
Bad.
Yeah.
In the organization. Like I don't think it was ever perfect in Gmail. You're right. I haven't really thought about it, but the drafts have been getting worse and I've been using them less and less.
Yeah, and I updated my like there was one time where like I didn't even ask it to, and all of a sudden it started using its own calendar booking thing. I had sent emails where it dropped their link into it instead of mine, and it's like in my prompt it shows you the calendar link. Like, what the hell?
Well, and I think the other thing too, they added in their like AI chat thing, right, into the fixer.com.
Yeah, I haven't used that at all.
It doesn't work. It's not integrated at all. Like whatever you do, whatever you prompt it, whatever you tell it to do, it can't send an email. Like it's literally just a random like chat GPT thing, I think, that like is totally disconnected. So yeah, I guess it's good to get a second opinion, but I need to look for a new tool, I think.
If you find one, let me know, because I've been looking as well as a potential replacement for me and or the team.
You know what I'm worried about is it's the annoying thing of like, okay, I have all these transcripts that the only place they're in is Fixer. Like now that we're not going to pay them, do I have to go download all of them? And like,
we've been doing that over time. My team requires me as part of our SOP for when I have a sales meeting for doing our sales is I have to export those. That's one of the things executive assistant would be nice for is those things. But yeah, you do have to export them, get them out of there. It's a real pain. But their meeting, that was another pain thing on our team. Like all of a sudden it's like, we're not sure if the fixer meeting note taker is like getting drunk and not showing up to meetings now because like it goes MIA on us or shows up late. Like
show up a couple minutes late. It never shows like it's never tries to join early. And if someone starts 10 minutes late, which happens, right? Like customer emails you, hey, I got to take care of something. I'll be there 10 minutes. Okay, but now the note taker is not there, and there's no way to get it there. And I think. I mentioned this to you. We had a vendor who told us one thing on the call on the Google Meet, and then all of a sudden the margins we actually were given were not the same. And I didn't have the fixer there because they showed up late to the meeting. And, before it would have been, here's the transcript, here's what you said, like, let's work this out. But I didn't have that transcript to fall back on, which pissed me off, right? And fixer should have still been there.
So some of the team members that have gone off of it went to Otter. I've been looking at Fireflies for our AI note taker. Microsoft also has some of theirs that we might I think it's Maestro. We might live within that. The challenge I have is I really want something managing more of my email responses. That was the huge value prop for me, is it did a good job of filtering. Like, it's still like filtering the marketing out is still really good for me. Like, that's that second layer of filtering, because I get so much garbage. Like, it is insane that like that's been probably one of the reasons that I'm hesitant to get rid of fixers, because it still saves me time in that bucket.
Yeah. Yeah, the categorization is getting worse. Like, I just looked into it, and it also just like labeled something wrong. It was an important email as marketing. Like, yeah, there's problems, but I guess we can move on from fixer. Conclusion, I think, is start to look for the next thing.
Yeah, I'm with you. Let me know if anybody's listening that's found something. Please message us.
And you want to jump over to the time reviews?
Yeah, I'll let you go first.
Okay, so I just did it manually in an Excel sheet, and kind of went through what I ended up working on. And I've been really surprised. I think being cognizant of actually doing this has kind of pushed me to work less in the business, right? Like the 18th, I'm in the middle of selling my airplane, so there's a bunch of random crap related to the contract drafts of that. It has opened my eyes to like where on semi-turnkeys I've been burning a lot of time, and that's getting fixed now that I'm starting to delegate that to our apps guy. On the 21st, which was this Monday, lots more strategy, and then I burnt several hours working on those PLC boxes for the intro loads, which is what it is. But at least now I've recorded the SOP videos, scoped out what we want, and that's getting sent out to a vendor. And then, I guess that's one big thing. Doing this has made me cognizant of where my time has been going. And when I've been doing something that I shouldn't be doing, I say, okay, make a video. So like on Tuesday, the 22nd, like I was making videos on how to do like the etching onto the intraload label plate. That way, that's something that now it can be offloaded from me. There's an SOP. It lives in our Notion system. And then, that's another thing. Like 3 hours got taken out just from doing one site visit in Orange County. Yes. And I made the most of it. Work calls. I've been listening to Small Business Flight Plan and his other book. It's like a business story something, which, I think honestly most of it's covered in Small Business Flight Plan. But
was that his first one? Because he references another book in the
I think so.
The Flight Plan. Yeah, because I've never listened to his other books.
It's not as good, but it is about the storytelling of business. It's made me think about like our tagline. Like if I go to our website here and I obviously you can see this. Like the first thing you see, spindle gripper and pallet tending solutions for your CNC machine. Like that's a very boring statement that's not abundantly clear. And turning that into, we make your CNC machine load itself, right? Like that's a much more clear.
I like this random orange with what appears to be the same font that Develop uses.
We use Poppins. What's your font?
That's not ours. I don't remember what our font is anymore.
You're probably on Roboto, which looks pretty similar to Poppins.
We had Roboto, Nexa. There's another one. Mono was one for a little bit. There's been several. I forget which one's been landed on. We struggle with G's in engineering. Okay. Like the G's are always weird in some of these, and that's been the struggle, is finding one that looks good in capital and lowercase.
Yeah.
Okay, that seems like a solid audit of it. So it's like one main focus, getting some of those things videotaped and buying back your time, if you will, in the Dan Martell context via that route. Is there anything else that kind of came out of that with, or things you should be focusing on?
I mean, one of the things I did, I made a top 3 priorities of the day. And it's kind of like, even if the day goes to shit, like if those 3 things were done, success, right? Like, because that's the most important thing, is that I'm driving the business the right direction. I kind of moved in these buckets. Am I working on the business or in the business? And I classified it as on the business if I was in some way doing, a new product development, or even doing something that was working in the business, but filming it and making an SOP.
Yeah, that's moving. It's getting off your plate
Yeah.
because what's happening is you're building momentum. The
Yep.
tough part is you have to swim through this pain still. You can't just say, "Oh, I'm on the business,"
Yeah.
and then let the business flounder.
Right.
Like you have
Yep.
to get through it. You have an interesting challenge because yours is still very physical. Where I offloaded all the physical stuff very
Right.
early in the develop journey, and so now I'm on this admin and office side or sales side, which we're focusing on the sales. The marketing is still one of those that I think more of that can be offloaded. I think some of it. I guess is there more that you want to cover on yours before I kind of
No, not really. I guess the only other thing I did was, I think the worst thing I was doing was, I've always been really slow to invoice, kind of too kind to clients of when they ask blah, blah, blah. And I just handed that all over to my wife, Priscilla, who is doing so much of a better job.
Do you ever
and
have you sold anything to collections yet?
no.
Yeah.
Have you?
I've been hesitant. I've got a couple right now where maybe we cut this, but yeah, I've got some clients that clearly breach a contract.
I mean,
and
if
they
they're
owe us money,
if they owe you money, if it's been a year, like, I would say too, like, it's not that I shouldn't have, it's that we haven't. And I would encourage you to keep it in the pod because, like, that happens. People sometimes don't pay and it sucks. You didn't do anything wrong.
yeah, we
And
delivered. It's
yeah.
crazy, and it's like they've just ghosted us. Like we did the work, delivered the work, then they asked for like upgrades or changes on stuff, so we did that.
But
And then
I guess what I'm
it's just
saying, Matt,
crazy.
like, yeah, like I totally get feeling like or being upset about it. The question I want you to ask is if you had a CFO or a COO or someone else was managing invoices and collections, or like AR, AP, would that person have sent it to collections already?
They would have terminated the client and
Yeah.
sent it to collections by now.
Yep. And that's probably where that's a great way to ask it. If someone else was in charge of this thing, what decision would they make if they
Yeah.
were like, yeah,
No, that's fair. Yeah.
cool.
I'm too nice, but yeah,
Yeah,
I need
yeah.
to stop doing it because it impacts my business, and it's more the mental bandwidth that's the drain.
And I was doing this with our T&M clients. I would let their retainer balances go negative. And then I'd have to worry, like, are they going to pay us, right? Like, yeah, it's just having someone who's not you there, who just follows the policies, and also the clients don't ask that other person to make exceptions, has been really, really nice.
Yeah, very true. Well, on to my time audit. I recorded mine. So I've typically done my audits the same way you do. I also really like your strategy on doing your top 3. That's where I think I've talked about it, this full focus planner.
Uh-huh.
I handwrite in that. It has my daily 3. It has my to-dos. I also look at a weekly audit of that. Like I've done that for the last year. And I really like the way you looked at your Excel spreadsheet. That's the way I've done things in the past. So I wanted to try something a little bit different. I voice recorded with Plot AI as much of my week as possible. Like I didn't voice record if I was in the truck traveling somewhere or in a meeting that I just didn't make sense to record. I then dropped all those transcripts into Plot AI. We're talking, I think it was like 20 hours of recording. And then I answered questions about the other stuff, or I exported from Plot AI, dropped it into ChatGPT, and then talked about my entire week to the AI or to ChatGPT. What it did is it came back with 15 and a half hours of things that I shouldn't be doing. Because I asked it in something that I've also done within ChatGPT is I built a virtual board. I thought this would be interesting rather than talking to my physical board so I can get faster feedback. I built it around people that I really admire on businesses or things they've done in their life and asked those questions of it. And it gave me some really candid feedback around it, but found that there was 40% of my week was on things that could have been offloaded or potentially things that I wasn't seeing the leverage that I should have.
Okay.
Which was interesting. I mean, I can go right through the list. So exporting and transcribing Plot AI meetings to folders. That was over an hour of my time this week. Updating CRM, logging notes, and managing my calendar was over 2.5 hours of my week. Drafting or formatting fixer emails, organizing responses, many hours of my week. Cleaning up inboxes. I did that on Saturday and Sunday. I cleaned up my inbox and it's like that was an hour and a half that I could have spent with Amanda and Milo.
Yeah.
Like that was like, all right, that hits. Structuring statement of work files, folder cleanup, OneNote overhaul, migrating, miscellaneous, all that stuff could have been offloaded several hours there. Compiling summaries of visuals from, I guess that one shouldn't have been offloaded. I've been working on, we had a really good meeting last week in our all team on what our next milestones are as a company, because we're really close to hitting some of the ones we've been aiming for. And so I was structuring some of that. That couldn't have been offloaded. So whatever, now I'm down to 15. Calendar management was another portion here. Internal action tracking from meetings. There's just a lot of time I spend getting miscellaneous tasks taken care of that somebody could have done, and then following up emails. I think ChatGPT was very generous on that time. I think it's actually more. And then the other one is the stuff I didn't get to, like the top of funnel response emails that like, oh, I can always get to those later.
I know, yeah.
There was time there, like somebody could have spent 5 hours, and I think that's a recurring a week, 5 hours. So I think 15 hours easily I could offload onto somebody there. And so I sent that through the Chat GPT, my virtual board, and it was kind of fun to see their candid responses on it. But I also did it with the idea of hiring the salesperson at the top of funnel to help finalize some of these processes for us before that.
You know, one thing I'm thinking about is like AI has come such a long way in so little time. And, you know, I do think as time goes on like that, you know, first off, like one of my concerns just like for the world in general is like, you know, I don't know how much more room for like a lot of those, I think middle class admin jobs are kind of go away, right? Which I think is going to be bad for the economy and blah, 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 but I won't get into that.
Front of office has been what I've been saying.
Yeah. And also that like EA position. And I guess that makes me like kind of skeptical because I've been seeing us like kind of force multiplying with AI. You know, I've got into this like 2 months ago, if that. And it's made me a little skeptical of like how much better are the tools going to get? Or am I just using the wrong tools?
We're in the same, that's been the same boat I've been in, because I was going to hire an EA almost 8 months ago, and I've solved all these pains with AI, like literally tools since over the last 8 months, along with other, like I have a spreadsheet of how much time I've added. Just, I mean, if you want me to pull those numbers up, I could show you since the beginning of the year. I don't know if we want to pause. We're way over.
It's okay. Yeah, I mean, why don't we jump to this? Like, I guess to conclude that, I would say, at least my opinion, I'd encourage you to like just scope out how much more can AI do for me, and how much can it not do? And because I think you may have still room for that AI or the EA person, but I would just scope it out and like put it on paper and think it out a little more.
Well, that's basically what I did in my further analysis and building the sheet. And I came to the conclusion that I should hire this salesperson to finalize more of the automation on top of funnel HubSpot for us. And so then when we bring somebody in for an EA, they're really just managing getting people on my calendar and doing a final vetting.
That's funny because I'm like looking at all of our quotes now that I've been like focused in sales and marketing. I'm like, this is not sustainable. Do you want to, so I guess with that, the other thing, obviously that was our accountability item for last week. What do we think what are our accountability items going to be for this week? Do you have anything in mind for me?
Oh, that's a good question for you.
Well, I guess for me, there's not much I can do. It's install those intro loads, make sure the customers are happy. Because that's, you know, I'm out of town, kind of near your neck of the woods, and it's going to be intro load, and make sure they're happy, do site visits with them, try to get some video content. So I guess yours is the hard one.
Yeah, let me pull up my next week and make sure I don't have anything that's really butchering it. Ooh. I have a big site visit for a massive client that's coming here preliminary. This is the last review before sign. So this is, I found out this week, it sounds like we're the number one selection on a massive contract, which is, this is the last meeting. CEO is coming out for big company to make sure that Develop can deliver what they want. And so I'm very excited. We've been chasing this deal we've got to be going on over a year now since we delivered the proposal.
Yeah.
And we've gone through 4 layers of management to get approved. We've done that.
What I'll say with that, like, we don't, like, you know, if we're doing something or focused on the high level of the business, like, okay, your accountability item is like, you did the meeting. Right?
I really need to just make sure the team's organized. The shop looks amazing. We crushed that meeting. And that's the number one priority, because if we do that, so many other things can happen to develop. Like, that's top priority. I was going to say scope out this thing for the marketing guy to do it. But it's like, my focus needs to be crush that, make sure they get a personalized thank you, get back to what I used to do. Like, I used to do these little touches, and I wish I had more time, but I say I wish, but I should just make the time. Like, I used to always write these personalized thank yous and mail people honey from my farm after these site visits. And I need to do that again.
Yeah.
Like, that's actually my accountability, is write the personalized thank yous for the time and send them with honey and crush the tour. Like, that actually makes me excited, because it takes me back.
You were going to crush the tour anyway, so we'll do the honey and the personalized thing.
But I also pulled up so I've been tracking I did the Dan Martell at the beginning of the year, the perfect week. And then I've also been tracking my CIs of time saved. So far with tools, which I need to re-audit Fixer and maybe degrade that tool. Okay, I will audit that right now and say what it is today, and we will give you the actual numbers. So I have saved nearly 900 human hours this year of my time with AI and tools. And some of those were leverage creators where, like, I might never have got the meeting with these people without these tools. So I think it's a higher value than that. And so, if we just value my time at normal, that's a huge multiplier, which is AI.
Yeah, 100%.
So I thought I should share that a little bit.
Cool.
That's all I've got.
I think we're super over, so you want to skip the personal section?
Sounds good to me.
Cool. Give us a share the podcast with a friend. Give us 5 stars. It really helps us out. Thanks so much. We'll end there.
You.
Thanks for listening. Thank you so much for listening to Matt and I's conversation this week on the Manufacturing Automation Podcast. If you like the podcast, please share it with a friend or give us a 5-star review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. We'll be back next week to continue sharing our respective journeys in life, business, and industrial automation. Thanks so much.